and welcome to Faith and Forts. I'm so excited to be recording this video where Kez cooks. First and foremost, I do want to give a major disclaimer, which is I am by no means a chef. In reality, the reason why when I started this channel, one of my categories was going to be cooking was because I would like to be a better cook. And I have always tried to venture out and try new recipes, and I'm hoping that as I record my progress, hopefully here in however long, I will eventually venture out to do some of the major recipes that I've seen out there, like cochinita pibil, maybe a birria, maybe something complicated like that. But today we are not going to be doing cochinita pibil or birria. I'm going to be going ahead and trying a recipe that I have been craving. I am currently 19 weeks pregnant, so I'm a week away from 5 months. And the pregnancy cravings are starting to come with a fury. Quick shout out. So there was a sister a couple years ago who invited us over to her house, and the sister's a great cook. She made this really delicious homemade like lime jalapeno fettuccine. I was enamored with it. I mean, it was so delicious. This happened 3 years ago. Why it hit me 3 years later at a Smart and Final, I have no idea. But all of a sudden, I felt this craving of like, oh my gosh, that pasta, that spicy jalapeno lime pasta, I want to go ahead and try it. And so I asked the Sister Angelica, if she would be willing to share her recipe. So in very Kez fashion, I didn't buy all of the ingredients because I forgot, pregnancy brain. So I am going to replicate the recipe as best as I possibly can with the ingredients that I have at home, which it's very Kez fashion because a lot of the times when I follow a recipe, maybe you guys are to the T, I don't. I am famous also for the atanteo, which is a Mexican way of saying a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So there isn't always strict measurements. There's a lot of like, yeah, about this much, you know, add this much salt. And it's like, well, how much? Is that a teaspoon? Is that a tablespoon? About this much. I already know there's going to be a lot of sticklers on this video, people that are really good at cooking that are like, oh my God, no, she didn't. She did not just do that. She did not just pour oil over this. I understand. I'm learning, and maybe through the comment section, I will learn my mistakes, maybe through trial and error. When I got married, that's when my cooking journey started. So I'm only a rookie, 5 years under my belt, and I've only really had one reference, which is my husband. So bear with me as I pretty much put this recipe together. So stay tuned. Okay, so we are back with a little bit more light. We are going to be following the recipe to the best of our ability. So, mistake number one. This is not fettuccine pasta as the recipe says. By the way, I keep looking to the side because I have an iPad. We're going to be using spaghetti instead. We have no fresh chopped cilantro, but we do have garlic. We also have jalapeno peppers. We have butter. We don't have chicken stock. We don't have chicken stock, but we do have water, so we'll use that. We don't have tequila in this house because we are non-drinkers. We don't have lime, but we're gonna improvise with some lemon. Hopefully that doesn't hurt the recipe. We also have soy sauce, which to be honest, I'm a little bit hesitant about, but we'll see. Then we have red and yellow bell pepper. It also said to throw in a green one, but I wanted to go ahead and do some cherry tomatoes. I'm a sucker for cherry tomatoes. I will throw them in anything I have. The recipe doesn't include spinach, but I like spinach, so I want to throw it in there. And the recipe also said a red onion. Aside from that, we have the heavy whipping cream. And finally, we have the Parmesan cheese. So, plus, sorry to mention, we also have our chicken breast. As you can see, it's only one chicken breast. I'm really only making this for Joel and I, and it's a really small portion. I am not doing this for like a family of 4, so just keep that in mind. And let's get started. Garlic salt, pepper, paprika, and finally I added some onion powder to the chicken. I also drizzled a little bit of olive oil and I sprinkled half a lemon to the chicken. Now, the recipe didn't actually mention anything about seasoning the chicken. I took creative liberties to do that. So right now I'm just gonna kind of let it marinate in that, and I'm gonna work on cutting the veggies. So I'm going to be going ahead and starting to prepare the water for the spaghetti. So since I don't have chicken stock, I'm going to use some of the starch water with some of the flavor from the ingredients that I threw in to be my chicken stock. So I threw in a little piece of onion. I threw in una hoja de laurel, which I believe it's a bay leaf. And then I also threw in some chicken bouillon. So I'm gonna have that boil, and then eventually I'm gonna throw in the spaghetti. Again, this is not in the recipe. This is my take on it, and so bear with me. Okay, so I've sliced up all the veggies. As you can see, I've sliced up the bell peppers, the cherry tomatoes, the jalapenos, the onion. I haven't chopped off the spinach, and so I'm gonna start working on the chicken. And let's see what the recipe says. This 2 tablespoons, is this an exact amount? I am using my regular tablespoon. That seems like a lot. Alrighty, so we have been cooking this for about 4 to 5 minutes. If I'm completely honest with you, I don't see the paste-like consistency that the recipe is referring to, so that's my first fail. For those cook geniuses watching me are like, your first fail. That is not your first fail. You failed a long time ago when you decided to do your own thing. Is to start sauteing the red onion, which I love red onion. The bell pepper, red and yellow. And because I am a fan of cherry tomatoes. The recipe doesn't talk about putting any kind of seasoning to your veggies. I learned this from my sister. She always seasons her veggies, and I think that's a really good bit of advice because, I mean, come on, like you wanna season your veggies. Come on. I'm gonna opt for some onion powder. As you can see, el atanteo, this much, and some garlic salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and stir that around. This is starting to wilt a little bit for me, so I'm gonna add the chicken, which, if you remember, the recipe didn't say to season. I chose to season. I'm surprised because it never talked about cooking the chicken like first, which normally I feel like you cook the chicken first and then you like add it. So that was a little weird to me. This might be my second fail. So I'm gonna go ahead and add all the chicken to the center so it cooks a little bit better. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the jalapenos to the top with the butter and the lime juice and lower this a little bit. So while that kind of sizzles, I'm gonna grab this and kind of top it over the chicken to kind of kind of speed up the cooking process a little bit and isolate that. Again, this is not in the recipe. This is just things that I've done. Maybe they're wrong, but it's what's worked for me. And the saga continues. So at this point, our chicken is starting to look a little bit more cooked. I always like to take one out to kind of test it to see if it is cooked because I panic about chicken. So I'm going to test this out. As you can see, oh, it's really hot. It's fully cooked in the inside and it's white and juicy, just basically where we want to have it. So it's not overcooked. So this is the perfect time to go ahead and throw in the half and half or the heavy cream. So let's throw in half, 1, and a half. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and mix it all together like we know that it's the best of both worlds. And we're gonna kind of let that simmer in that sauce. Spinach cooks really fast, so I'm gonna throw in the spinach in. I also chose to throw in some spinach in the event that the jalapeno ended up overpowering and kind of ruining the meal, so I felt like spinach would be like a good base. Gonna throw the spinach on the top like that. I could have sliced it thinner, but I didn't have time, so I just decided to throw it over. This is what it looks like. Ooh. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I know that people on YouTube and cooking channels will always say their food is delicious and delicioso and de mi rancho tu cocina. I know, but trust and believe it is fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this simmer in this. I'm gonna drain the spaghetti because it's there, and I'll let it finish cooking in this, and then I'm gonna throw in some Parmesan. So back in a little bit. Okay, the spaghetti is now cooked, and I'm gonna throw in, yes, I know how this looks, a little bit of butter, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of garlic salt, just in case there was a lack of seasoning on the pasta. Obviously the broth has the sauce, but still, I was just like, what if it doesn't have? So I'll go ahead and just throw that just in case. Now for the final garnish, we're gonna throw in some freshly grated Parmesan. I am absolutely obsessed with this meal. Joel is for sure gonna try this. So you guys are gonna see his reaction. For those that don't know, this is Joel, my husband, and my only reference when it comes to good cooking. So unfortunately, I don't have that many references to say if it's really good, but his word is law. So if he says it's good, then it's good. So are you intimidated at all by the jalapenos?
No, but it looks really, really good. And I only see like a couple jalapenos. The rest are bell peppers, and they're not that spicy.
Is it spicy?
It's got a very small hint, and I just picked up one of the jalapenos, and it wasn't that spicy, but for those people that are particular, I guess you could say it's got a little kick, but.
From a scale of, okay, if the scale is from tapatio to like habanero.
Habanero? Like a step down from tapatio. I feel like raw tapatio on a chip, it's probably has a bigger kick.
Oh, okay. Where would this fall? And it's okay if it doesn't make top 5, obviously.
This would fall into the recipe book, and not everything goes into the recipe book, remember?
Sure.
So this is definitely a top 10 dish.
Okay, so after tirelessly working for 6 hours, I have reached the point where it's time to try this, and I will be more severe than Joel if he is lying. So let's see. Yeah, it's not spicy. For my first time, I want to rate it kind of high. I think it's a 7.5. It's pretty good. I would feed this to, because the way I rate it, it's like, would I give this to your mom?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, what if she's like,
I would give this to the guys. Yeah. This is like a 8.3 in my book.
But guys don't have such a high standard. They'll eat anything.
This is true. But this is like an 8.3.
Well, guys, this pretty much concludes my video. I hope you guys enjoyed cooking with Kez. And on to the next recipes. See you guys soon. Bye. By the way, if I look a little teary-eyed, it's because of the onion, which my mom would always say that growing up, if you would cry when there was onions being cut, it was because you are a jealous person. If there's truth to that, I'm not sure. Okay, it's